What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Manchester United 2, Liverpool 2. This is the full-time view. That rhymed. Where you can call in and have your say if indeed you are a member of the UV Members Club. All you have to do to become a member of the UV Members Club is click the link in the video description. It's also the pinned comment in the live chat, or click the join button. If indeed you are a member, you can go over to the United View YouTube page and go to the community tab. You'll find the link right there. So there's plenty to get into. Points shared at OT, as the thumbnail says. And just while everyone sort of files in and gets their thoughts about the match rather, ready. A strange one, a really strange one today for Manchester United. First half, a nothing, terrible performance, dominated by a better side. We get a goal from a bit of fortune, a mistake by Liverpool, and a great finish by Bruno Fernandes. That then turns into a lead thanks to a wonderful, unbelievable finish from Kobbie. And then once again, we're asking the same question we've asked against Brentford, against Chelsea, and now today against Liverpool. Can Manchester United hold on? And the answer is no. We can't hold on when the going gets tough. And that led to a point today, which I guess, depending on your perspective, and it'll be depending on the perspective of the guys calling in here. But many people, I guess, maybe going into the game didn't think we'd get a point. But it's always what could have been. That's what it feels like the last 3 games, certainly. But let's get straight into the calls. Let's start off with Chalaboy Comics. Chalaboy Comics, you're first up.
How's it going?
Oh, mate, I'm tired. I'm not going to lie. I'm really tired. Yes, but what were your thoughts on what you saw today?
It's one of those weird ones where I'm extremely disappointed because at 2-1 we have to win that game. But if you think about maybe the balance of the play, 2-2 or draw is maybe a fair result. In terms for both teams. What was very interesting about this game, at least to me, is that it continued the trend with Erik ten Hag, which I really admire about him, in the sense that at the start of every game, every big game, if you look at Man City, look at Arsenal, look at games against Chelsea's not a big game, but in general, when we start off a game, we tend to have the first big chance of the match. It's almost like a pattern. And the Garnacho shot that we had that was offside, if Bruno times his pass a little bit better, or Garnacho times his run a little bit better, it's 1-0 in the first 5 minutes, right? And this has been something that sort of indicates to me that Ten Hag knows how to prep our team, to get that initial first goal based on what the opposition's going to do, off their base setup. And what was interesting is we started off really well. I thought before the game, if you asked me, would we win this game, I was very, very nervous, right? I was like, I don't know. This could be a thrashing, but also it's United. You never know what you're going to get. But once the game started, I just had this feeling of confidence of like, we can actually take these guys. They're not that good, if you know what I mean. They're really good. Don't get me wrong. But what I mean is, we're not like such huge underdogs that we don't stand a chance against these guys, right? And what was funny is that right after Liverpool scored, we reverted back to mean and stopped doing all the things that got us those early chances, right? We were pressing individually as opposed to as a team. Anytime we got the ball, we'll hoof it up instead of playing between the lines like we started off. And it was just very disappointing to see that level of capitulation in the first half. But then, come second half, we regrouped and we started, playing, a little bit better. I was telling, a few people, I was like, all Erik ten Hag needs to do is just tell them the plan doesn't change. We still need that first goal. Stop losing your head, The passing was woeful. And, I know we've had these conversations around, is the team, set up right? Is the tactical setup right? And I don't know if it's just me, but when I'm looking at this game, nothing struck me as this team setup isn't right. I think we set up well to press and we were forcing a lot of turnovers. The main issue was that we would lose the ball in areas of the pitch where no top team loses the ball because of bad passing, because of a lack of reading of play, because of a miscontrolled pass. Like, these things leave us open, and that's why we're getting all these chances against us. It's not because of how we're set up. It's because we just can't execute in the style that we're set up, So that was what was frustrating about that criticism I'm receiving, because I thought the whole time we had chances. Like, if you go back and watch the game, like 90% of all Liverpool's chances came from us giving the ball away stupidly. Not because of any brilliant press that they did, just us being bad. So it's just one of those things where in on the balance of things, yeah, maybe a draw is a good thing, but we had enough in our arsenal to beat these guys today, which is why it really hurts.
I will push back a little bit when it comes to the setup because I mean, still, we did see today the gaps in the midfield were still. I mean, they were chasms, weren't they? They were huge, and it's a difficult one with someone like a Casemiro, isn't it? Because you then have the conversation of, is Casemiro struggling because the midfield gaps are so big, or is he struggling because he's declining as a player? Because he was on a madness, I thought, today.
So weirdly enough, I saw two. It was a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde performance from Casemiro because he was getting timely interceptions at certain points where you're like, oh, Liverpool's gonna just come and score, and he'll just nick the ball off. But then the moment he gets the ball, his first pass is awful. He started off passing well in the first half. Like it was actually in the first 10 minutes, it was decent. And then he just lost his head. And I want to like sort of go back to when you say the gaps in the midfield. If I challenge you to rewatch that game, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm misremembering it, but majority of those gaps came from the fact that we lost the ball when our team was pushing up to attack in places where no top team loses the ball. We would try a flick or a small pass, and then that turnover is what causes those gaps in midfield because our team's not set up. So it's just all about ball security. I wouldn't say it was Liverpool carving out that space and then getting us into those positions. It was us, messing up. But yeah, Casemiro had a mixed game. It was quite terrible in possession. And what was interesting? I was looking, I was like, why can't we control this? Why can't our team control any game or, any phase of play? And I started actually going down the list of our players, and I was looking, I was like, Højlund, he's a hothead. Anthony is a hothead. Garnacho is a hothead. Bruno is a hothead. Casemiro is a hothead. Onana is not a hothead, but he's unpredictable. Like we have so much unpredictability that runs through the team that the only composed individuals are maybe Kobbie Mainoo at 18 years old, and to a certain extent, Harry Maguire, but he's not as confident in his ball skills, so he gets a bit nervous. But
he's still erratic. Yeah.
Exactly. There's just a level of erraticness that runs through our team, and it makes it so difficult that when we have chances to be patient, everyone's temperament chooses the option that's just like go, 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 go. So that's like we have so many things that are playing, and that becomes a squad building, situation. How do you bring composure into our 25-man squad? But yeah, it was frustrating because we did enough to win that game.
And finally, where do you think we go from here? 3 games where we could have realistically, despite playing poor, could have got 9 points. We're in the position to get 9 points out of all of them, leading in all 3. Where do we go from here?
I think it just has to be game by game. I think Spurs and Aston Villa are still going to drop at least 9 points in this run-in. I believe they're going to lose 3 games. Can we win those 3 games? So yeah, I just think we just need to keep going. But before we go, I just want to shout out Kobbie Mainoo because the disappointment of us not winning shouldn't take away from the fact that was one of the best goals I've seen in this season. It was so composed, and it reminded me of Federico Makeda's
at the same
goal.
kind of bend,
same turn, same swish.
Yeah.
So I just want to say shout out to him. That was a brilliant performance from him, and I hope we just got to take one game at a time and find the resiliency to keep going, because we have the ability to pick up results in any given game.
Yeah, absolutely. Big up Chala Boy Comics. Appreciate you calling in as always. SLD says, what a goal it was. Indeed. Brilliant. I just start screaming, oh my God, on the match view. And I agree, that was the first kind of comparison that popped into my head. It was kind of the Makeda back to goal, turn, hook your foot round it, and it sort of bend. It's almost like bending in slow motion. It just kisses in off the post. Brilliant, brilliant, fantastic goal by Kobbie Mainoo. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Sean. Sean, talk to me. What are your thoughts on what you saw today?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think we expected anything from this game today. If anybody did that, I mean, hey, well done. But going into the game, personally for me, I thought it was going to be a hiding. So given that, I think we played okay. There are clearly gaping holes everywhere along the team. The setup is not great. I want to talk more about that later on. But look, I think we'll take a point. I think we've made Liverpool lose 4 points in 2 games this season, and that's not even including the FA Cup. So it's good to get 2 or 3 over the Scousers. But look, there are many red flags in that performance. But I'm happy with the point, really.
Talk to me about some of those red flags then. What red flags stand out to you the most?
The first red flag is obviously the one that we all talk about, is the fact that the midfield is completely open. Now, I wanted to clap back on certain comments with that. We can agree that the midfield setup is not correct. At the same time, we have to understand that if we're trying to build a transition game, as Shalaboy correctly said, you don't need hot heads in that midfield. You see, Klopp did the very same thing with Liverpool. When he came in, there were men like Lucas Leiva in the midfield, and he got rid of them. He got in Wijnaldum, he got in Fabinho, he got in Thiago. He put modicum of sensibility in that midfield. The only one we have, as he said, is Kobbie. And I think that's one of the reasons that he wanted Frankie de Jong over Casemiro to begin with, Erik ten Hag. I think he understood that the midfield needs to be calming rather than chaotic. Casemiro, Bruno, Rashid, they're all chaotic players. They thrive on chaos. They thrive on transitions. I don't think that's where we want to end up. That's one. The other thing, I feel like there is a mental blockade with this team. This has happened too many times now. We start the game off well many times, and then if there's one thing that goes wrong, it completely unfolds. That is something that we need to work on, whether it's Ten Hag or somebody else. The mental conditioning of these players needs to improve. When I talk with sports clubs as a part of my job, they always talk about this. You know, it's very, very important to condition these players, both physically and mentally. If you're trying to play a transition game, you need to. There will be chances. There will be problems in there. There will be issues, and they were clear to spot today. And I think the last thing I wanted to talk about is the fact that, look, in a couple of occasions this season, I think we've seen Garnacho, Rashi, and Rasmus combine as a 3 and create opportunities with Bruno behind them. Today it was non-existent. I think it's against Chelsea, it was not good either. The cohesion of the forward line is very, very important if you're trying to build a dynasty, if you're trying to build a team. I don't think we have that right now. There were many good spots. Obviously, Kobbie was, as usual, fantastic. Great goal from Bruno, but his overall gameplay was not good, to put it lightly.
Talk to me about Bruno. I was going to ask you, that was going to be my follow-up question with him, because once again, we say really poor performance, but once again, he's on the score sheet. So does that kind of mask, to an extent, the sort of his deficiencies today?
Yes, I think that it's been going on quite recently with Bruno. Is that even in the Chelsea game when he scored that header, that was a good header, but his overall game wasn't great. The problem with Bruno is I think I remember speaking to you about this before. I said that I thought Bruno turned over a new leaf last season, where he was more cultured, more Odegaard-like presence, where he just not giving the ball away, waiting for the correct opportunity with the instep, the small passes here and there. He's just regressed back. I have no idea what's happened to him. That play that we saw a little bit last season, I thought he'd improve on that, especially with Mount coming in, especially with Amrabat coming in. People who can do that dirty job allows Bruno to then sort of be a screen in front of them. You see, what's going wrong in the positioning is, if you look at like the average positioning of Bruno, he doesn't even play as a Mazzala. He plays at like a hybrid 10/9.5. He's too close to the forward. He's disconnected from the midfield line. Then when he goes to the midfield line, he's not really in tune with them. And then he would go like 20 yards to get a block in, which of course we appreciate. I mean, the guy has a great work rate. Nobody's denying that. But the intricacies of the game, I feel like with Bruno, it's not present this season. Now, I don't know whether it's the managerial instructions for him to be as chaotic as possible, because even under Ole, he wasn't this chaotic. I mean, today I saw 2 instances where he could have played in players, but instead of taking a touch and waiting, he's going to play that Hollywood pass over again, and it gets annoying at one point. Look, I do like Bruno. This is not an issue with Bruno himself personally, but there has to be some issue, whether it's the coaching instructions, whether it's the way we are transitioning, that it's just not working. Great goal, of course, great goal.
Yeah.
But we've been saying it since the Ole times. Individual moments of brilliance cannot mask in a sustainable manner. It cannot possibly be sustainable in this regard.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally, I think I'm going to ask this to everyone. Where do we go next after the last 3 games? Same issues, but we still find ourselves where we're like, I guess Champions League is a very faint possibility. Where do you think we do go? Is it just focusing on the FA Cup and maybe trying to string some performances together?
Look, I think our next two games are against one of them is against Bournemouth, Burnley, and Sheffield United. We need to get 9 points. Like, I don't care what we're finishing at the end of the season. We need to get those 9 points. I do not hope for fifth, as you said. But look, we got to look behind us now, which is ironic given Marcel's comment a couple of days back on the full-time view. But West Ham and Newcastle are just pretty close behind. We need to, like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we need to solidify 6 spots first. Get those 3 wins. I know it's difficult for us to win against these teams, but we have to get those 9 points. Coventry, yes, that would be good. We just need to look forward to the FA Cup final and see what happens in the summer, because I'm not going to say the season as a write-off. I do believe that if Ten Hag does get some good results, especially maybe against Arsenal at the end of the season, maybe there's a chance that he might stay over the course of the summer. But look, it's a point that's good, but we need to get those 9 points for the next 3 games. I don't think there's much to play for in the Premier League at this point for us, but we can spoil it for Arsenal, although I'd prefer them to win the league. It's a difficult situation, really.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. I appreciate you, Sean, as always, calling in. Super chat here from Alj says, is it crazy that Casemiro completed the most passes? Is that accurate? Because he wasn't today. Imagine if he could actually pass. Imagine the passes he would have. Unbelievable. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Show. First of all, I suppose I'll ask you, are you surprised that we got a point today? And are you even more surprised that we could have had 3?
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised we could have won the game today, but I couldn't see us holding on. I'm really honest. Like, I always thought Liverpool were going to score again with the sheer amount of shots that they had. Like I mean, the fact that it was only 1 at half time was like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it was 1 at half time. And then obviously second half, we were only going to improve second half, and we did. To be fair, we did improve second half. But yeah, Liverpool were massively wasteful in front of goal. But yeah, we scored 2 great goals. I thought the only positives today were the 2 goals themselves, bits of individual brilliance from Bruno and Kobbie, although Bruno was awful. But I want to pick up Kambwala as well. I thought he had a shaky start. I thought he had quite a poor start actually, but he grew into the game, and second half he kind of bossed the forwards towards the end. So I want to big up Kambwala. He was definitely the better of the 2, of him and Maguire.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I felt for him when he got the booking, because I thought it's never a booking. And I worried from after that. I thought, are they going to target him? But you're right. I thought the first half, there was a couple of points. I think Onana played a couple of passes to him and he looked a little bit sort of shaky, not sure what to do. But second half, I thought he was excellent. So yeah, absolutely deserves a ton of credit. I suppose it's the same conversation we have after every game about the midfield and about, Casemiro and Bruno. But what did you make of that today? Someone just said that Casemiro can play the most passes. I don't know if that's true.
If that's true, that's a big indictment on our team, because that's an insane stat if that's the case. But again, the midfield's non-existent. I mean, and it's the setup. I'll go back to it. I mean, we got, is it 28 shots we faced today? 28, something like that. Was it 29?
Like, and it was the contrast, wasn't it, of the shots we faced, and in the first half we did 0.
I know it's nuts. And the thing is, I added up, like, so in the last 3 games today, Brentford and Chelsea, we faced 80. So in a week of football, we faced 86 shots. I mean, some teams don't face 86 shots over 2 months. We've done it in a week. So I think it just points again to the setup of the team. I think we're second worst in Europe's top 5 leagues in that stat. So that again is a big indictment on the team. It's not sustainable football, and we've said it over and over again. It's not sustainable. I think today is one of those where, like, you take the point because against Liverpool we didn't expect anything, but you look at the performance and you go, actually the only positives were the 2 individual goals and Kambwala's performance, because unless you can think of some other positives.
Well, it's strange, isn't it? Because it's two things, isn't it? Like you say, it's the well, technically I suppose 3. It's the shots faced, which people will bring up every game. Like, these are like inevitable. These will happen regardless if we win, lose, or draw. It's the shots faced. It's the gaps in the midfield, and then it's some form of like individual error that happens in the game. So, like, for instance, we drew the game today because for whatever reason, Aaron Wan-Bissaka goes, I'm just going to slide him in the box. Like, I don't know what he's attempting to do.
Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy.
And it is one of those things where you just go, like, it's such a weird team to analyze, Man United, at this point, because we don't play well. We can see the shots, but there is an argument, like I said during the match, for like we could have had, and maybe should have had 9 points out of the last 3 games.
Yeah.
Like that's madness.
The thing is, we could have had 9 points. I think we would have probably stolen all 9. If we're being honest, I think against Brentford we didn't deserve a thing. We know that. Chelsea, I thought probably a draw was fair. I think a draw was fair in that game. I thought both teams were equally bad. Today we should have lost. Let's be honest. We didn't deserve anything out of today's game. I don't think. If you look at the whole game, so actually, if you look at it, in the last 3 games we deserved a point, and we got 2. So we actually got more than we deserved if we actually look at it. But it's just one of those things. Like you say, you can't make the sense of our team, but I actually think when you look at our team, we play the way our manager sets us to play. We play the way that he wants us to play, because comes out and I know you said it in one of your previous videos. You don't like to take heed Ten Hag's press conferences too much because managers stuff they don't mean. But I think saying that we've too many shots isn't really throwing players under the bus. So he wanted to say that he could, he doesn't. So I don't think he really cares about it. And he said it before previously. He said in certain words, he really cares about the rest defense. Putting defenders and keeper doing their job. So I think he's happy to face 25, 30 shots every week. He's happy to play this kind of football. I really do believe that.
He said, didn't he, that as long as they don't go in and we've got a good goalkeeper, was what he said, which is kind of nuts, certainly. Big up, show. Appreciate you calling in as always. Mike Dubbs says, Owen, not sure if you've seen the replay, but the penalty should have not stood. I know that the contact with that one was minimal, and we did say during the match view that he hung his leg in and he found the contact. I would also say it's madness from Aaron Wan-Bissaka to do that in the box. You are giving the referee a decision to make, and if the referee gives it, we already know at this point VAR is not going to overturn that. They're just not. It's madness. I know sometimes we like to we like to sort of soften the blow a little bit and be like, oh, no, we were robbed. But it's stupidity first. It's stupidity. And then maybe you can get into, consistency. If we're getting angry at consistency refereeing in the Premier League, my goodness me, I've got angry at consistency in the refereeing in the Premier League. It's shit. We know it's shit. But I think for someone like an Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he can't do that in the box and then be like, wow, it was soft. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Don't do it. Don't. We've had numerous occasions this season where things have gone against us that have then gone for other teams. We know that, we do, but I don't know what he's doing. I really, really don't. And I thought the referee was poor today. I said I thought the Kambwala yellow card was ridiculous. I thought that he let a lot go in the favour of Liverpool, but I can't be shocked at this point. And with Wan-Bissaka, just you're 2-1 up. You got like 10 minutes left. What on a day where the surface is slick because of the conditions, don't go to ground. I know you're like the best at the slide tackles, but just don't do it. You give the referee a decision to make, and it's madness. Let's go to another call. Actually, how many likes are we on first at the moment? We've got nearly 700 people watching. We're at 118 likes. If you haven't already, click that like button. Let's see if we can get up to 200 or something like that. So yes, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Aminor. Aminor, what did you make of today? You surprised that we got a point, considering thoughts going into the game? Could we have had more?
I'm surprised that Liverpool didn't score five goals in the first half.
Yeah.
That's what I'm surprised with, because before the match I was thinking we're going to lose about 4-0 hammering, just based on emotions, just based on what I've seen, and the fact that I don't know what team's going to turn up.
Yeah,
that for me, that creates despair. The fact you can't go into a match like this where it's your biggest rivals and feel like, okay, I want to, man up and show that we can defend or what, etc. I didn't have that feel. I was a bit like Flex. I could not tell you hand on heart whether we were going to win, lose, or draw before this game. So the fact that we got a point, it was a scam win. It was a scam draw. We deserved to lose that match. I mean, the first half in particular, Bruno and Casemiro, those two, I was screaming at my TV, especially at Casemiro.
Yeah.
Really, really poor. And the fact that we couldn't control the midfield. I heard Gary Neville in the first half saying that Mainu and Casemiro going beyond the ball, like pressing them. and and you can see on the TV the massive gap between the back four and the front six, and Liverpool. If I was a Liverpool fan, I would be kicking myself because they may look back at this game and feel like this is the game where we lost the title on. I'm probably not exaggerating when I'm saying this. This is the game where they probably lost the title on. I know there's still a long way to go, Arsenal to win, etc. But Arsenal are on form, Man City are on form. So the fact that I'm saying that Liverpool should have buried us in the first half is just, yeah, that is that. But
it reminded me, the game actually did remind me of the FA Cup game a few weeks ago in the sense of that second half in the FA Cup game where for like 40 of the 45, they dominated us. They had all the ball, they created a few chances, but they didn't really sort of do anything with it. But they had all the ball, and it was like, man, they're playing us to death. This team's just better than us. That's basically what happened in the first half, wasn't it, really? They just played us to death. They're better than us.
I think it's worse, actually, because there's like, I don't remember the chances. The first chance, Soboslai, near post, he pushed it wide. There's one that Onana did make a good save. Another one where Salah should have, it was on his left foot, he should have got it onto the top right corner. So I could recall three very quickly where they should have finished us in the first half. But I want to say about I want to speak about some of the plays before I go on about I can't analyze the game. If you're asking me on low, give me your thoughts on the game analysis, I can't do that. But I just want to talk about some of the plays. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm mentioning Bruno and I'm going to talk about Casemiro first. I think he's gone. I think I
was gonna bring him up to you because I remember talking to you. Gosh, it might have been one of the first few games of the season, and I think I'm talking the first 3 or 4 games. Remember you saying to me, "I think he's done. I think his legs
not even first game, not even first.
Yeah. And it feels like it's just got worse and continuously got worse.
I mean, respect to his heritage, respect to what he's done, but honestly, he's sliding in. He can't even. He was passing. There was some passing in the first half, second half that he didn't make the pass straight, and then he was sliding it in. He did, he was trying to make clearances. One clearance in the second half. I don't know if you remember Owen. We were panicking defense. He had the ball in the box, and he skied it, and it went towards Dallo.
Yeah. Went over to the right. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, he needs to go. I mean, if Saudi come in with an offer for him and it's good money, I think we should look to sell him. I want to talk about Bruno as well. Bruno, I want to ignore the goal because the goal was a mistake from Liverpool, and yes, he managed to do that. But I think for us to move forward as a team, Bruno and Casemiro and possibly Rashford, they need to leave our team in the near future. Rashford played okay, but those three in particular, Owen, I don't feel confident.
And the thing is, what people push back with the Bruno one, of course, they'll say, "Look, he scored the goal," and is that the ultimate sort of Bruno masking because he does score the goal? People will talk about that, and in 3 or 4 weeks, when we have another conversation at Bruno, they'll say, "Oh, look at these goals he scored this season. He's got 10 goals in the Premier League or something." Does that mask what the deficiencies are with him?
Well, maybe, perhaps, but this is why I blame the manager. You got Mason Mount now who's back fit. Why don't you sub him? Why don't you, after 60 minutes? I know he's captain. He probably needs a rest. If you give him a rest, he'll feel revitalized, and we'll bring that old Bruno whereby he's able to sort of dictate the play, score some more goals, and influence the game because he's not influenced the game and he's losing the ball too many times for me. Him and Casemiro. And like I said, I thought Rashford played okay actually today. Usually I'm a big critical Rashford, but I thought he did the basics okay. There's a bit more intensity in his game. In terms of players, I want to give a big shout out to Kambuala for me. This is probably the first time I've actually studied him, and I thought he played really well as a young person playing centre back next to Harry Maguire. So, and maybe we don't need too many centre backs in the summer. Obviously, we need a replacement for Varane and Lindelof, and if Harry Maguire goes, but I'm reasonably confident of Kambuala being a squad player for us. I'm happy with that. I don't know what you thought about Kambuala.
I thought it was excellent. I think particularly in the second half. I think first half he looked a bit shaky, like he was struggling with maybe the sort of weight of the game. A couple of times Onana gave him the ball and he looked a bit nervous. But I thought second half he looked really, really strong. Really strong. I thought he looked resolute. I thought he was unlucky to get booked. Yeah. And I worried after he got booked. So I thought, is he going to sort of have to back out of tackles now? But you talk really about their sort of front three. and he would have been central. So he'd been up against Darwin Núñez. I mean, obviously, I know Núñez gets the flick on for the goal in the first half, but second half, in open play, I thought he had Núñez pretty fine, pretty in his pocket.
Pocketed him.
Yeah.
Just on the manager, though, not just on the manager, but more about the setup and tactical setup again. Again, for me, you played at home. You know Liverpool are very good at possession-based football and transitioning through. He still persists with the low 6 at the front, 4 at the back, and a massive hole in the middle. So structurally, tactically, I still think Erik ten Hag has still not learned his lesson. If you know you haven't got the players to execute that plan, then tweak the plan slightly. You know, he's not doing that. So, you know, for me, for those people who say Erik ten Hag needs to be in next season, what I'm saying, I'm not Erik ten Hag. I just want to clarify this, right? I'm not Erik ten Hag out. I want him to succeed, but my phrase is he's failing his probation with Ineos. He's doing everything possible. He's giving every excuse for Ineos to sack him at the end of the season. That's what he's doing.
Yeah. And finally, I've asked a lot of people, where do you think we do go from here? 3 games, could have had 9 points, have ended up with 2. Where do you think we go between now and the end of the season?
I don't know. I want to fight for 5th spot. And I just think the number, it's 8 points. 8 points in 7 games, is it?
That's 1 win in 6 in the Premier League, I think.
Yeah. I just don't see how we make that gap up to go for 5th spot. So I'm going to throw a bit of a curveball out there. Aston Villa, I've noticed their results, they're starting to get a lot of draws. Maybe if they continue with more draws and we actually start winning, then maybe we could catch up to 5th, because I could see Tottenham getting the 4th spot. Aston Villa continues to sink, and maybe we could catch up, but I just think it's a bit too far. So for me, let's go with that hope. Let's just see where we are and take it game by game. But I'm actually looking forward to see what we do now in terms of the FA Cup, because maybe history's repeating itself. Or maybe we could be in a scenario whereby Erik ten Hag wins the FA Cup, but they still sack him. A bit like Louis van Gaal. That could happen.
Yeah. Or it might come down to that's the one game that keeps his job. Something like that, right? That might be the thing.
I don't know with Ineos. For me, Owen, it's like if we didn't have Ineos, then I would have said Erik ten Hag. Had he won the FA Cup and got us into Europe, he'd be safe. But the fact that Ineos are in here now and they are waiting for an excuse to change manager, I feel, and he's giving them the ammunition for that. I think the writing's on the wall for them. So I wish them all the best. I do wish we can get Champions League, but I just don't think we're going to do it.
Big up, Amador. Appreciate you calling in as always. Long-time member, contributor, supporter here at the channel. LJ says fullbacks are a problem because they push up with midfield. Our midfield is exposed because no one sits. I honestly think you're all overreacting. I don't think it's an overreaction to look at Manchester United's performances and say that some of it is quite subpar and certain facets of it are subpar. You look at certain metrics, it's not great. I think, and it's interesting, isn't it, with managers who have people's number to extend. So the thing is with Ten Hag and Jurgen Klopp, because people will point to the 7-0, but if you take that out of it, was it? It's 2 draws and a win, or 2 wins. So it's a draw today, draw at Anfield, win in the FA Cup and a win at home last season. So not a bad record, does he, against Jurgen Klopp? And that was the last time Jurgen Klopp's going to be at Old Trafford as a Manchester United manager today. Manchester Liverpool manager. Matifalu says, forget top 5. We need to look down, not far off them. And Show says, just want to say justice for Ahmad. I was really surprised that Ahmad didn't get minutes today. And to be honest, yeah, if he can score the winner against Liverpool at Old Trafford to knock him out of the FA Cup and still not get time on the pitch, he's never getting time on the pitch. Like if you ever, what do we always say? Actions speak louder than words. Those actions are speaking pretty damn loud, aren't they? Definitely, they are indeed. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Clovis. Clovis, talk to me. What did you make of what you saw today?
Yeah, the game was, I don't know. What I would say is, Owen, like the last 2 callers that came in and said we didn't deserve to win. Listen, man, I disagree. Sorry. Garnacho scored a goal in the space of 10 minutes. right? That means we were set up right to play very well. And if the goal counted, the game would have changed.
But it didn't. But it didn't count. It was offside.
No. I'm just saying if. That's why I use the word if.
Yeah,
if,
but it's
right?
one of those ones where we can't be like, well, it was off.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is we were set up right, and we actually scored. Well, it was ruled off, cool, but then Liverpool scored, and we completely just gave up a little bit, and then they started playing against us, and just the first half was really, really bad. And as for the midfield, Casemiro, like, he needs to be sold, like, for real, he's gone, like, literally, because you can't tell me for 3 games now, Erik ten Hag sets up the game for us to play. Nobody uses individual brilliance, as they say, to be like, everybody's pushing way forward. Why don't I, as the 6, just remain and just support the defenders? Like, even one person, it's as if we are playing 2 8s. It's crazy, and the hole in the midfield is crazy.
Do you? This is something that KG was bringing up a lot on the match view. He was saying that basically the bigger problem is the technical ability of some of these players. He was like, if they could just pass it 10% better, then actually we would create more chances. We would be more sustainable.
Passing. Like Bruno Fernandes, he doesn't do this in Portugal. This is what is baffling me. He doesn't do this in Portugal. When he goes to Portugal, he plays well. When he comes here, the passing from everybody is crazy. It's horrendous. And I just look at it. I'm like, yes, it's easy to blame Ten Hag, which I will blame him on the substitutions, because Casemiro should have been off long time ago. That is where I'm like, Erik ten Hag, please stop. Ahmad needs to be in that team. Amrabat was okay when he came in.
He did well when he came on.
He did well. He was playing very well. He was really active. Cambuela was really, really good. Like, really, I did not expect the back, Harry Maguire and him, to be such, to be okay in this magnitude of a game. I did not expect that, but like, these players are just giving 3 games now. We are up winning, and we just lose concentration for a second, and we give 2 draws, and we lost 1. Like, Chelsea are drawing right now against Sheffield United. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I can, and that's the thing. I can, and that was the thing we were saying after the Chelsea game too, wasn't it? Is that for all of the talk about people were like, I see for you people, you were chatting shit about Chelsea saying they're not good. They're not good. They're not good.
They are drawing right now with Sheffield United, and they might lose this game. And that's where I'm just like, we should have capitalized on this type of things. Not keep drawing against Liverpool is okay to a certain point, because it's Liverpool, it's our rivals. It's not, if we would have lost, hell would have opened,
Yeah.
But then we drew. I'm still giving us this. That penalty was okay. I will see it, but this game was literally taken from us due to individual errors, and that is how it has been happening for the past 3 games, and even other games as well, despite how we set up. Again, one thing I will let United fans know from now is stop expecting us to play very well. That has not been happening from the start of the season up to now. What are you expecting in 7 games? Like, it's not going to happen. What you're expecting is goals.
But why? But then I suppose they'll ask the question of, why aren't we playing well?
Because the players are not good. Like, literally, you see what I'm saying right now. Marcel will say it today. The players are literally not good. If they cannot make, say, a simple pass, all their passes are like coming off very nervy. They are not straightforward passes. They are either someone is chesting it, or is at the top, or it's like the passes are not smooth enough. So what is Ten Hag gonna do with all of that? Plus individual errors, plus tackles in in our box. Like, what are you doing?
Mm.
All those things contribute to how we fail to even play anything, let alone like we play for 10 minutes and that is it. So if we can play for 10 minutes, that means the players know very well they can do it, but then they just switch off as soon as any adversities goes against them. And that is a serious problem. Yes, the manager has faults, which I've pointed out, like the substitutions. He should have done that today much earlier than he did. But then, I mean, coming down to it, all I'm looking for is just goals, because that is where we should be looking at top 5 and saying if we will get it, you know. But if we keep drawing, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, that's going to be my final question. I mean, what's your prediction when it comes to that final position? Do you think we can get the 5th spot, or is it too much?
I love this club, you know, and I will always try to back this club as much as is. I mean, it takes out the emotions out of you, but reasonably speaking, I don't see Spurs really doing anything too serious. We might, I repeat, we might get the 5th spot. We might, but then I'm not so certain. That's what I'm going. That's my true answer. I'm not certain, but we might. So
we might. Big up, Clovis. Appreciate you calling in as always, man. Let's get to one final call. Let's go to Connor. Connor, talk to me. What did you?
Can I share an image with you, which I would love to thank Kobbie mainly for?
Is this other thing you've got here?
Yeah, this is the image I would like to present. I would like to thank Kobbie Mainoo for winning me £8 and 26 pence. I put a bet onto United to win 2-1. I have trust issues with United, so I cashed out, and Kobbie Mainoo won me £8 and 26 pence. I would love to thank Kobbie Mainoo for that fact. Before I rip the team apart a little bit. I
thought, Connor, it was going to be like this big amount. You know what I mean? I thought it was going to be, you're going to go like,
I don't bet big on United.
£8.
Yes, I can buy my next United View membership with that. I thought you'd be happy with that.
Connor, he's come in waving £8. Ugh. And it was a cash out as well. Fair enough. And look at him now. He's going frets. Unless you don't want the membership. All right, Connor, we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. Go ahead.
No. I do want to talk on the team. I do want to talk on the team. I want to be serious for once.
Yes.
You know. Oh yeah, let me turn on my camera so I can show the other image I've got. Is my background. It's Mr. Gary here. He's on a flip flop. It's because I am flip flopping today.
I mean, he said, "Can I? Let me be serious for a second." I wonder what. Let's get Connor back on. Let's get him with Joe, isn't it?
No. I have to be serious now. I have to be.
Yes.
I'm 100% serious from now on. I'm flip flopping on Onana. I like
with
it.
Your £8.
With my £8, I'm flip flopping on Onana. I like Onana now. I didn't like him at the start. I like him now. I have to turn my thoughts on Onana. That's the reason for the flip flop. That's the reason KG's on a flip flop.
I mean, I think I'll join you with that one. I'll join you with that one because you know what? I'll say not that I'm flip flopping on him, but I'm giving him more of a chance now.
Yeah.
How about that?
Early on in this about January time, I was ready to bin him off. I jumped
too quickly. Too quickly.
Yeah. I jumped too quickly. I'm trying to climb back up. Like I don't like him at the start of the season, but now you know I'm going to give him time. You know, he went to Cameroon. He spoke with the ancestors. The ancestors told him, "Listen, mate, Champions League ain't for you. Premier League though, you can do whatever you want there. You know, but in all seriousness, Willie Kambala today he played like a great first team centre back. But
Yeah,
I don't think we should throw him in the deep end too soon. I think we should.
we might have
just give
no
him
choice. We might have
No,
choice.
Bro, he was in the deep end today. How can you get any deeper than Liverpool at home?
Let me finish. No, I'm saying don't. Like, he's going to have to play games for us, which are going to be big games. I'm 100% down to let him play, but if there's a not fit alternative, not a half fit player, not a got a bit of a nick but can play for it. No. Like if there's another option, don't put all this pressure on a young kid. Like because we've seen Kobbie's able to handle it, but don't put too much pressure on every kid that comes through the youth system, expecting them to be able to handle it because certain players can't handle it, and then it will affect their career negatively.
To be honest, I don't think he would have been thrown in today if there was any other options. Do you know what I mean? He'd done his job because he was called up.
Isn't it? Sometimes it's how it works. You look at Marcus Rashford; he's got a career based off an injury. You know, someone was injured, steps in, scores a goal, and then builds a career off it. Joe, I saw you getting animated in the comments by the analysis that we deserve to lose today. What are your thoughts on that?
Listen, I'm mad. What do you mean? People talking about that we didn't even deserve to draw today. You know what? Yeah, I have to say this. I was speaking to Show directly, saying that, listen, it's a game of two halves. We won that second half. I don't care what anybody said. Yeah, I know that. I know that we capitulated at the end. Look, in the last two games, look at what we've done at the end of games. Even in the last three games, even. Yeah, and people want to still be getting on the manager, telling me, "Oh, it's his fault." It's whatever. I don't even care anymore. Yeah, whether you're Ten Hag in, Ten Hag out, Ten Hag roundabout, I don't even care anymore. Yeah, all I'm saying is this. Yeah, if you can't see that we should have won 3 games and we fucked it up, we messed it up as a team. Yeah, then I don't know what the problem is. You should be able to see that yourself.
No,
are you blind?
I have to agree with you on there. It is individual errors that have cost us in games. The Brentford match, sure, we did throw away a lead, which was gained late on, but majority of the Brentford match, we were dead. I can't lie about that. Chelsea started off slow, looked awful. Then second half came around. Well, not even second half. In the first half, we got it back to 2-2. Then the second half came around and we played well, but then we capitulated at the end because we just lost it and we thought, all right, it's over now. You know, it's the 90th minute. We don't have to worry. But no, and we lost it. I have to make the point of how many games have we got left of the season? Like, how many games have we got left now? Like, obviously, apart from the FA Cup, 7 games. 7 games.
7 games, yeah.
For the last 7 games of Premier League season, we're probably going to hold a lot of shots. I have to say, for them shots we're going to hold, we've not got the team to to control the game to prevent it. All we can really do is hope that we stop them from scoring. Obviously, you don't let them shoot, we don't stop them from scoring, but hopefully Onana stays on form, we shut them down, and we just play compact the defensive midfield, because we're holding too many shots. But for short term, I'm willing to accept a few more shots for short term if it means by the end of when we get into summer, we rebuild the entire midfield and get rid of like you were saying before, the erratic players.
Do you know what? I kind of agree but disagree. Just let me say this real quick because I know Owen's got to get out of there, yeah? But I'll tell you this, yeah? With these erratic players, yeah? People are talking about the amount of shots that we're facing and people getting into our box how many times, right? People, think about this and address this matter right now, yeah? If our players were passing the ball correctly, holding the ball, rather than giving the ball away every 2 passes, don't you think that we would be facing a lot less shots? Yeah. And that's where I think fundamentally, that's where we're falling apart as a team, yeah? Pragmatically, we're not passing the ball more than 3 passes. We break down within the first 2 or first 3 passes, and then we're facing shots. We're getting broke down in the midfield. We're getting overrun in the midfield. Sorry, yeah, and that's where we're falling apart. Once we get players in the team that can hold the ball, people that are not on their last legs, hopefully, yeah, we're going to see a different Man United next season with these same tactics. I guarantee you, people are going to see these same tactics next season if we get the right players in. Anyway, we'll see.
We
Can I
shall
just quick-
see. Indeed.
Can I just make the point of we need to drop Bruno?
No points from you. You said enough points. No,
No. Drop Bruno for Mount because Bruno today, like that pass he played to Garnacho, play it earlier. The space was there to play it earlier. Garnacho would have been miles on side. It's Joe when he takes that touch, then he takes the touch, then he plays it. Garnacho's already offside by that point, Bruno. He's a world-class midfielder who, for some reason, I feel like it's just getting burnt out or he's just losing his head like sometimes. Like he just needs to just go back to the basics, play the pass, get us in for an early goal. It's like in the FA Cup match, we scored the early goal, we shocked them. Sure, they brought it back and got that other goal. Sure, like they did today. But we would have got that goal, it would have been 1-1 at half time, not 1-0. And then we would have gone on into the second half. If we would have played out like it did, it would have played out like it did. It would have been 3-2 today, It's
yeah. See, we can't do that though. Yeah, let's just go on what did actually happen, innit? Yeah, revisionism is a long thing.
There's a lot.
That's a lot of if. Yeah, there's too many ifs, blood. Yeah, let's go off what did happen.
Bruno plays the ball. Bruno plays the ball.
Bro, the only thing.
I don't know if you heard. Connor got £8 today. £8.
I got my
if he had stayed in, he would have had nothing.
Yeah, I'm going to another channel. I'm going to go to the Reckless Delegates. So,
do you know, can you just send me him so I can talk to you real quick, please? Can you just give him a send me? Thank you.
I'm still the £8. He came in. He was probably like, "Can I show you something?" Oh yeah.
Big bragging, I do it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, bro. Like I thought he was going to say, "Yo, fam, I won 2 mils. Look, I cashed that at the right time." Like £8. Get out of here. Anyway, don't get me wrong, bro. Everybody's got a hustle in it. Do your thing, innit? But anyway, as I was saying, let me just get to this point quickly, when it comes to this game, Owen, you saw the last game. I've been really waiting to speak to you because we spoke at the last match, right? Yes. Don't you think that these players are letting the manager's tactics down? Because if people are saying that the manager has no tactics, then how come we're winning in the last couple minutes of the last games? Why are we winning, please?
That's why Man United are such a difficult analysis, aren't they? Because there are constants in the game going into a game that you can guarantee. Before we played Liverpool today, you could guarantee they're going to have a lot of shots against us. There are going to be gaps in the midfield, and there are going to be some big errors from our players. And yet, we still managed in these 3 games to be like we should have won that, even though we were rubbish, in particular the Brentford game. We should have won that. But today,
whether we think we should have nicked it, exactly. Whether we think we should have nicked it, or we deserved it, or we should have got away with it. We've been ahead in the final few minutes of the game. There's something fundamentally wrong with our players with holding on to a lead. I don't know if it's like a mentality thing, if it's an emotional thing, if they just start falling apart because they start getting scared. I don't know what it might be. But there's something definitely fundamentally wrong with the way that we enter the last minutes of a game, and it can't all. I'll say this: it can't all be on Eric Ten Hag. Surely he must be doing something good as well. If we are winning towards the end of these games, right? So, as much as everybody's saying it's bad, there must be something good, right?
Something's happening. I don't know what, but something is happening, definitely. And Connor's a madness. He's gifted 2 memberships.
With his £8. That's cost more than that cost £10, fam. You just spent £3. You lost money today. Anyway, Owen, you know what? It's always nice talking to you, bro. Big up yourself, man.
Big up, Joe. Appreciate you as always, Connor. And that's what they always say about gambling, innit? As soon as you win it, as quickly as you spend it, it's gone all over again. Big up to Connor. Big up to people that became members because of Connor's generosity. Calder Clan and MT gifted the membership, courtesy of Connor's winnings today. Big up to you. Anyway, guys, appreciate everyone. Actually, I've missed a super chat from LJ. It says Casemiro did actually do some good today, though. So there you go. Big up to everyone that's called in today. Big up to everyone that's tuned in. Big up to everyone that tuned in on the match view as well. It was a lot of fun. KO match view. You know how they go. I'm going to go now and possibly, maybe, fingers crossed, get some sleep. And then I'm going to be back live once again this evening, WrestleMania 40, night 2. I think you're actually going to be redirected to that stream. So if you do want to set a reminder or whatever and join me through the evening, you can do so. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good weekend. I'll speak to you again very soon. Peace.